Yeah, he's in there.
Okay, Craig.
We got everybody, Craig?
Everybody's here.
Okay, we'll get it going, and thanks, Craig. Okay, Amanda, could you take roll, please?
Treebig,
Here.
Danaway,
Here.
Gogman,
Here.
Uria,
Here.
Galco.
Yeah, I'm here in my kitchen. I'm here. I'm here.
You bring the donuts this time?
On a diet, Skog.
I didn't get any.
Well, I guess what we'll do is let's take the Pledge of Allegiance. Even if could we lead the way?
Okay.
Oh,
I didn't put mine up.
Pledge
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance to the
to the
flag
flag of the United
States
States
of America
and to
and
the
to the republic
for which it stands,
one
one
nation
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty.
liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Okie doke. Okay, before we get, and I will let everybody comment after. I'll give everybody a chance if they want to speak. But before we get into our regular, meeting part, I like a little brief, a little talk here, if I could, just a brief opening, because it's so unusual. It's, as you know, this is our second meeting now, Viro, with on Zoom, and I think we've been in stay at home or isolation. It seems about 3-4 weeks. It seems longer, but it has been that. But again, I do want to thank again, like I did 2 weeks ago, because it's continuing. Special thanks to all our healthcare workers nationwide, the real heroes who put their lives on a daily basis, really at risk to save other lives. So it's just a big thank you there. Also, some other essential workers we got to thank too. The people operating like the grocery stores, working there at convenience stores, postal, delivering mail, the truckers delivering all the food and products. So these people are keeping our nation going too. So again, a big thank you to them. And we are still in uncharted waters. I think some areas have kind of, that there's maybe light at the end of the tunnel. So again, it's different per every different part of the country, the way it looks, or regions of the country. I know certain places that the curve has leveling off, but without a doubt, we are, even at the light at the end of the tunnel, that tunnel may be a way away yet. No one really knows. I mean, some experts, and again, they're probably, would be the expert that I don't think anyone really knows, are saying that here in Minnesota, we haven't really reached maybe our peak until mid-June or early July. So hopefully they're wrong. I guess it's a day-to-day thing. But one thing I would like to comment, and I'll give everybody a chance if they want to add on, but I think we have to have patience to stay with it. There's no doubt the stay-at-home order, the social distancing is working. You can see that the numbers, for example, in Minnesota, based on our population in the state of Minnesota per capita, we have the lowest number of confirmed cases in the nation as far as based on our population. And I know we have to get back to work. There's no doubt people are hurting. We have to get back, that is a very, very important thing. Again, I'm speaking for myself, I'll let anybody else, but I just don't want us to, as a nation, to jump the gun. I want to make sure we're ready. And I think by ready, I mean, we have to base that on our science, our data, our testing. We have to make sure enough people are tested to know they are going to the workplace, that they are safe, that we have a safe environment for all our people out there. So I guess right now I'm telling all of us, hopefully, to stay patient. I want to thank the people of Mount Iron, the range here, I think, for following the stay at home, the social distancing. Like I said, it is working. And hopefully, by being together, even though we're apart, like I said 2 weeks ago, we're going to beat this deadly virus. And when it's over, we as not a nation, I don't even want to say nation, I said we as a world, because it's affecting everyone in the world. that we are going to come out a lot stronger, hopefully also a lot maybe smarter and even kinder to our fellow human beings. So that's that. But does anyone else want to add anything about this before we move on?
No, I'd like to add one more group of people to the to your thank you for their hard work through this, and that's our government workers, our streets and alleys people, our electricians, our water people, everybody that's from all the towns that they continue to go to work and they continue to keep towns going.
Right, Steve, and that's, I mean, I said, so, you could thank many that we're missing, but I wanted to make sure we thank the people, in these grocery stores, and they're putting their love. Anyone else before we move on?
Well, the only thing that I would say is that, we do have our leaders that are making decisions for us, and if we follow their guidelines, which I hope, most people are doing, everybody has an opinion on it, I know, but hopefully we can, stay together and stay apart and just follow the guidelines that are given to us. I think they're given to us by the professionals, and I think that's something, everybody wants to open the country, but I think if we do it safely and don't get that second spike or splurge, I think that's the one thing that all the experts are fearing, and I think if we go at this smartly, it'll work its way out, I hope.
All right, thanks, Joe. Okay, anyone else? If not, let's go to item 2, the consent agenda, which consists of minutes of our last meeting on April 6th. The receipts, letter C is bill and payroll, and D is communications. I still move that we approve the consent agenda. Do I have support?
Support.
Hi, Julie. Thanks, Drew. Discussion? Amanda, could we have a roll call on that?
Skogman,
Yes.
Danaway,
Yes.
Furia,
Yes.
Revig,
Yes.
Galco.
Yes, motion carried 5-0. Anyone under, hey, Johnny. Oh, he scared me there. Anyone under public forum? I don't think there's, unless somebody on that guy wants, I don't think we have anybody there. Okay, we're moving on to item 5, committee and staff reports. Under mayor's report, just 2 passings that I was aware of since our last meeting. I didn't know any of the people, but I do want to acknowledge the ones that and if I ever miss anybody, it's because I wasn't for him, but there was a Bruce Brickard,
Liquor.
Right, okay, I didn't know, but I think he was a class of 1974. I've been told, so he just passed. I really didn't know Bruce, but I do want to send, he was a Mount Airy grad of 74. To send our condolences out to his family. And the other one now that I just picked up was Dick Washburn Sr. And Dick lived currently in Duluth, but he was a 46 grad of Mount Airy. He was a Mount Airy boy grad. And I think his sister, I can't remember her first name, is married to Kenny Dahl here in Mount Airy. And so again, condolences to the Washburn and to the Brickard families for the passing of those people. Okay, with that, and I have nothing else to add there, so we'll go to
Gary,
city. Yeah, Skoggs.
can we add one to that too?
Oh, sure, yeah.
I see Rennie Renzagula's mother died.
Okay, Randy. Okay, yeah. Okay, immersion, but okay, yeah. I think she was. What is she? 100 some? 100.
Yeah, yep.
Okay, 100. Okay, to Randy's mother. I don't remember her first name, but I think she's 102 or 103. So.
Wow.
Okay, wow. So condolences, yes, to the Renzaglia family for the loss of, for Mrs. Renzaglia. Okay, city administrators report, or yeah, it'd be city administrators. Craig, anything there?
Just a few things, Mr. Mayor. In keeping with your remarks earlier, we more or less determined that summer employees, students are non-essential, and putting them on the staff would be probably in violation of the stay-at-home order. So at this point, we'll be not hiring any summer kids for that reason. Right now, the campground is closed until June 1st. We're currently evaluating that situation as ongoing. I've been in discussions with the park board about that, so we're going to keep monitoring it and working through that to see if there's some point that it's safe to open that. Also, they continue to monitor the situation involving the rec programs for the summer. I know Lenny's been talking to other communities about that, so we're going to evaluate that as it comes along. Right now, it's hard to think of it actually happening, but we'll wait and see.
Right.
And finally, some good news on Thursday, coming up this Thursday, the Evelyn Golf Course opens. So a little stress relief maybe out there.
How many rounds you get, Craig?
Well, it's coming up this Thursday.
Oh, this Thursday. I thought you were out there already. Hey, so enjoy.
Craig, you supposed to have our next meeting out there?
Hole number 9, eh?
There you go.
Oh, thank you so much, Craig. Okay, with that being said, let's move on to Director of Public Works report. Tim, anything? Good to see you, Tim. Anything to add there, Tim?
Good to see you, Mr. Mayor. Nothing formal other than a few comments. We have as you guys probably all know, coming in to wherever you're at, we have a pretty good windstorm out there. So we have some line crews out right now with some down power lines, or at least some very leaning power lines. I don't believe there's any outages at this point. But we are starting our spring street sweeping. We probably have to start all over with all the pine cones and everything that came down, the branches. But that is going on. So kind of give our sweeper a little space when you see them out there. We will be repairing some of our damage from our snow plows and our loader when we remove snow. So we haven't started doing that, but if people feel they have some repairs that need to be done, please call the city hall and get on the list. Once again, we haven't started yet, so we will be soon. The other thing is we are going to be repairing a sewer line in Main Street, and this will be our final sewer line. It's between Mountain Avenue and Mesabi. There was some damage that was determined on some of the filming that we've done on our rehab projects. And just a comment about our recycling area. And I know it's been, when everybody's at home, I think there's a lot of cleaning going on, and people are really utilizing our recycling and our cardboard. And if people could first bag their garbage in their cans, the less our employees have to handle it, the better they're off. It keeps them more safe. And the other thing is that we need to really follow the directions on recycling and make sure that we don't mix articles and throw trash in our recycling. There's been a little bit of abuse on that, and I'm afraid that one bad apple could ruin it all, and it wouldn't be worth the county keeping this program going. So please just follow the rules. There's signs up there, and keep that in mind, please.
Right. Thanks, Tim.
Hey, Tim, because of the added accumulation of everything, is the county emptying those more regularly? Are they filling up faster so people aren't
They
throwing
definitely
things
are.
around?
Yeah, it's our responsibility to notify the county on when they have a full bin, and they don't really want us to do it too early. They don't want to come in and haul when it's not full. But just a good example, over the weekend, I think the bins were half full on Friday, and they were completely full today with some materials laying alongside. So people are really, it's kind of hard to predict, but the county, their contractors we called them up this morning, and they were right out there and changed it out. So it's working pretty well. But every once in a while, we kind of get caught with some full bin, and we realize that there's not much we can do to kind of accommodate any better than we are. Tim,
Okay. I have
go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, just one other question, Tim. How are city workers handling the social distancing and everything? Are we everybody working pretty well and keeping everything clean and working together well?
Yep, I think so. We did, everybody is sort of in teams and the way they work now. And we do have a couple of employees that we base out of the South Grove Rec area. So we have a couple linemen and an operator, and of course Lenny's down there. We will try to keep those workers isolated during the day, and they get their vehicles and go on their projects. But everybody in general keeps pretty good social distancing practices going on. We have products down here for the employees to clean their vehicles, and they're supposed to be cleaning their vehicles out every evening, wiping them down with disinfectant, and we try to stay in use the same vehicles so we're not kind of cross contaminated. But periodically we can't do much about it. We need to use them all, but if in fact that it hit a particular group, if it hit our garage where there was employees sick, we'd have a pod of group of guys that could manage to drive garbage trucks and keep the power on and operate the facilities.
Okay, thank you.
No, thanks, Tim.
Tim, I think, as you know, Al and I have relatives all over the area. And I've found out from speaking with people in the different areas that maybe one of the reasons that our recycle bins are getting full so quick is there's some recycle areas that have shut down. Did you know that?
I guess I wasn't aware of that. I mean, I try to stay in touch with the other communities, but we have always been utilized a little bit more, I think, with the 1,000 employees going by our recycling bin every day. And that's fine. I'd rather see it in there than in the ditch, and not saying that anybody's doing that, but we certainly get used more than a town our size, probably. And the county is not willing to put out another bin for us. It's not cost effective for them. I don't think there's much of a margin on making money on this. This is more keeping materials out of the landfill.
Right. Anyone else?
Say, Tim, with our cardboard pickup, I drove by and saw that the one up by our pickups area up there was pretty full. Is maybe one of the suggestions or an ask of our public is to try and collapse their boxes? Would that help a little bit with some of that cardboard?
Yeah, that would certainly help. There's no question about that, to compact it. I think the bin that's by our recycling center gets utilized a little bit more now because we aren't picking up at businesses. So I think we do have businesses that typically wouldn't be utilizing that, coming up and dropping their cardboard off. We do have 2 roll-off bins. One's at the Nichols Town Hall, one's behind the Walgreens store. And they've agreed to let us put that there. They use it along with some of the local businesses around there. So it's a work in progress, and I know that those bins were abused. We had some people putting garbage in. It seems like it's a little bit better. We got some surveillance. I'll warn people that we do have some surveillance set up at our bins now. I didn't think we needed to, but we do. So we do have cardboard available for businesses in the roll-off dumpsters, once again, at the Nichols Town Hall and Walgreens. And of course, if they wanted to bring it up here as well, they can.
Yeah, but then the request to have them try and collapse their boxes to maximize room.
Certainly our cardboard shack is full, and it's, we emptied that out a couple times a week, and if they could reduce the volume of the cardboard they drop off, that would be great.
Okay, any other questions? Hey, thanks, Tim, so much. Okay, move on to D, the library director, special events coordinator report. Anna, anything for you, Anna, from you, Anna?
Good evening, all. No, Mr. Mayor, no formal report. Just have been in contact with our local Arrowhead Library Systems. They have canceled all of our legacy and kids stuff programs through August of this summer. So it will be at the discretion of our local libraries to determine whether we will be having any events at our libraries. So I've spent the last week researching online summer reading program options, and I'm going to make the call on that after one more presentation by a company tomorrow afternoon. But it does look like our programs will be mostly either small events, online summer reading, and just remembering that this summer will not look like the summers that we have had here at the Mountain Iron Public Library, as well as libraries across our region. So we would love to hear something from the state in regards to some guidelines or suggestions, but we have heard nothing at this point. So we are working closely with the Minnesota Department of Education to make sure we have a statewide plan in terms of library operations in the future.
It's all we can do. Day by day, Anna. It's all we can do. It's, you know, it's affecting everybody in the nation or in the world. It's touching everybody. So, any other questions for Anna?
Any question for Anna? The curbside that you were going to try, how did that has that worked out, or hasn't initiated it yet?
What is this again?
You were looking at doing some sort of a curbside pickup for library with some books and stuff that you had talked about last week, 2 weeks ago.
Correct. So I have put together a policy on non-contact curbside pickup. Still waiting to get the go-ahead that other libraries in our area are moving forward on that. My policies are in place. I sent them over to Craig to take a look at, and at this moment, I think we will be waiting at least until May 4 to roll that out, and that's pretty standard among all libraries in our area, that May 4 will be the decision on that. So I have the policy ready to go and the process put in place, and if we can go for it, we will.
Very good.
Okay, thanks, Anna, for everything. Thank you so much. Anything else?
You're welcome.
Okay, now
Nothing
we go
at this
to
time.
question. Okay, now we go to Sheriff's Department report. Oops. Hey, Johnny, you're on, John.
I hear bells ringing when you speak to me, Mr. Mayor.
I do. Bells, it's unbelievable what's happening over here, John. Dogs barking. Yep, everything. No. What's going on, Johnny?
That was a dinner bell, John.
How's the update, John? The last time we talked, a few days ago, we said it's quite the calls have been way down. Is that still continuing, John?
Yeah, my granddaughter just came in the room. Yeah, we're down to about 50% or less, and it's been real slow. There hasn't even been much for domestic type crime in Mountain Iron, which is a bit of a surprise. The only additions I would have is the first bear of the year showed up in Parkville, and don't let me catch you feeding bears this year. That's all I ask of people.
John,
we don't want to go through this again.
All of my bird feeders are down.
I'll try, John, do my best.
Yeah, John, I have a question for you. I have an observation, and I had actually a couple complaints on 102 going through South Grove. Living right by one of the stop signs. Occasionally, I know we have people that blow that stop sign, but the speed limit is really, I know the speed limit is 30, and what I've heard, people don't complain if they're going 35 or 40, but there's been people going through there that they noticeably are going 50, 60 miles an hour. I know you guys can't be everywhere. I know you can't control everything, but is there any way we could show some presence there or do something? Do they monitor that street occasionally or what's your?
I myself has sat there 3 hours in the last week on
Okay,
that road. So it gets plenty of attention, and that's been addressed at every level, including the county.
Okay.
And it's not a significant problem. I understand there will be people that speed, but when my job, but the 3 hours of patrol I spent this week in the last 7 days, actually since Thursday, was all at that sitting on stop signs or sitting running radar there. So I don't believe it is that significant of a problem. It does exist, and we'll continue to patrol it. But you know, the design recommendations were made to cure the problem and rejected. So
Yeah.
that's left to enforcement. And believe me, I am not writing warnings. You do it,
Yeah.
you get hammered. I don't care who you are. So
I know that,
and there's
John,
people,
I know,
people on our board that can attest to that.
I know that, Johnny, twice.
Yeah.
Thanks,
No,
John.
I understand that, John, and I get it. I'm just, you know, just addressing a concern I had from some citizens, and if they ask, I'll relay that. I know you guys aren't ignoring it. So I just want an answer to give them if I get asked again. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Okay.
Being a little sarcastic, I guess those stop signs aren't working to slow cars down, huh?
Of course they are.
Yeah, right.
If I can comment from someone who has experience on that road in many ways, but I've seen cars. We have a lot of, Joe will tell too, there's a lot of traffic on this road, especially during traffic, changes, shifts. I've seen people fly by my house. It happens, but occasionally, but for the amount of traffic we have on this road, that's very few and far between. I mean, people flying by my house. Is it happen? Yes, but very rarely considering the amount of traffic on the road.
Yeah. And I think the people that are showing the most concern are people that have kids in that area. They're concerned about their kids near the road and also their dogs, which shouldn't be running loose anyways, but some of them are worried about their kids in traffic, which I understand that can be for any street in the city, but as long as you got a handle on it, we're good.
I've heard from a local, another local police officer that an unused squad car and a spare Resusci Annie doll with a hat on slows traffic down.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't write tickets.
It doesn't write tickets though. Slows traffic.
And maybe the sign trailer, the speed trailer does too, but eventually they grow used to that. So,
they get used to it.
I could say it better than the mayor did, that it exists. It's just not as common as one would think it is for the volume of traffic that's down there.
Right.
And it only takes 1 minute to drive 60 miles an hour from one end to the other. It's a mile long. So
Yeah.
you got to be there at that minute.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, thanks, John, for addressing it, Joe. Any other questions on that? Okie doke. Take care, Johnny. City Attorney's report. Brian, it's just going to be good to hear your voice, Brian.
Thank you, Mayor. I've got no formal report, but I'm happy to field any questions the council may have.
Okay. Hey, Brian, you got a beard there? Is that a
No shade for COVID-19.
Hey, I like the look. I like the look, Brian. Looking good. Yeah. Anybody have any questions for Brian?
Yeah, is that a little bit of gray in that beard, Brian?
Councilor, that's a lot of gray in the beard.
Hey, it looks good. Looks distinguished.
Mine was too, Brian, you should see mine, except I really can't grow a beard, Brian, but if I could, it was kind of gray a little bit, but I couldn't grow one. I'm working on it.
That's the only place I can grow hair.
Okay, but Brian, it's good to have you. You take care, Brian, and we'll keep in touch. Okay. G, the attorney, we just got that. Letter G, engineers report. I don't know, is Al online here?
Yep.
I'm here, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, hey, Al.
Oh.
Any comments, Al?
I have no formal report, just a update. In situ form has given me an updated schedule. They should be in town to begin lining the downtown area in the next week and into the first week of May.
Okay. And I know,
Al, is there, are they gonna begin any of that work on the roadway there by, Plaza 53?
Mountain Iron Drive?
Mount Iron Drive, is that on, for this summer yet?
Correct. That's all for bids currently. I believe the bid opening date is May 1st at this current time.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, right, Al. So, yeah, Al, just any other questions for Al? And but I thank you so much, Al, for all you do, Al. Any other questions? Okay, moving on. Take care, Al. We go to H, the Planning and Zoning Commission. Item 1, I know there was a special meeting. I'll maybe let Steve carry this. It's item on Hadia conditional use permit variance, pages 9 through 12. It was done on virally, I think. But Steve, do you want to take that over a little bit?
Sure. This Hadia conditional use and a variance application has been going on for probably 6 months now. And it's all been by phone.
Okay.
We had a public hearing on this on last Monday. And there was nobody that objected to it. We only had one letter and it was just questions. And it's somebody that owns property there that doesn't live there. But the Planning and Zoning Commission okayed it and they passed it along to the city council to okay the permit and the conditional use and the variance application. So with that, I'm going to make a motion to approve the conditional use permit and the variance application of Joel Hadia for property on, let's see if I got the address here, 80602 Mud Lake Road.
Okay, it's a form of a motion, right, Steve?
Right.
Okay, do we have thanks, Steve, for all the work on that too. And I know Craig for setting that up. Do we have support for that motion?
I'll support it.
Okay, thanks, Joel. Any discussion on that?
Craig, or not Craig, I'm sorry, Steve, I see the conditional use permit says that it's over 900 square feet and over 15 feet tall. What are the actual dimensions of the building?
I'm not sure, but
well, don't you have to have what they're going to be if you're going to approve it?
I don't have the permit here.
Okay, but it is designated in the permit what the size of the building and the height's going to be?
Important building that's going up there.
Okay, it doesn't say what the dimensions or the height is?
No. Jerry would have. It's not going to be as big as that one that he put up before there.
Okay.
And it meets the setbacks and the reason for the conditional use and the variance is because of the height and the over 900 square feet. Otherwise, if it would have been a regular garage, he wouldn't have had to just get a building permit and do it.
Okay, I was just wondering if the actual dimensions and height were, on his application, which I assume they should be.
There should be on the application. I've just got the rough stuff here that shows that he applied.
Okay. And I guess the other question that came up, I see, was that is not going to be used for business at all?
No,
It's private use?
it's private use. He assured us of that.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Any
other-
If I could butt in for a minute, Counselor Prebag, I pulled up the building permit here and it shows that it's 22 feet tall at the peak. It's a 48 by 68 by 13 building
Okay, 22 feet high, Craig, at the peak.
at the peak. Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Oh, thanks, Craig. Okay. Any other questions, concerns?
Joe, one of the things that he's gonna use that for is he's planning on putting a house on that lot too. And he wants to have the building up so he could store his materials inside for safety. Now, if he was gonna use that as a business, he'd have to put the house up first and then put the garage up. And then he would have to get a conditional use permit for that too. But since he's only gonna put the house up, he's not gonna use anything as a business, he doesn't have to put the house in first.
Does he own the building just to the west of that also?
He
Is that
sold
his?
that. He sold that.
Oh, he
And
did?
when he sold that, he kept some of the property.
Okay,
And one of the things, I don't know, have you gone by there recently? One of
I
the
have.
things that held this permit up is he's got two of those containers, shipping
Yep.
containers. He didn't get a permit to put those on, so he had to get permits for that too. So we've got it all bundled up now and it's all ready to go.
okay, very good.
We walked him through the process and this is the final step right now.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks, Joe, for the work. Okay, thank you much. Guess with that, no other questions. All in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Hi.
Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Item I, go to liaison reports. Anyone have anything there? Item 6, unfinished business. None. We go to 7, new business. Letter A, resolution number 05-20, reimbursement, pages 13 and 14. That has to do with the water tank. I don't know if Craig or Tim want to add anything here. It has to do with the water tank or project. Anybody want to make, Tim, you want to comment on it briefly if you want to on?
Well, you've heard us talk about we have 3 projects going on in our water system right now. One is a new well. The second is the filters in the water treatment plant. And the third is the water tower painting project. Craig has lumped all 3 of those projects in trying to find funds for it. Craig, if you had something to add.
Sure. Mr. Mayor, what this resolution does is right now we don't have all the financing in place for these 3 projects. We're working through Public Facilities Authority. We're working through IRRB, and we're gonna have to probably do some private financing on our own, which would be primarily the sale of bonds. We're not in a position right now to make that sale of bonds, but what this resolution does say is that in the future, if we do issue these bonds, we'll be able to reimburse ourselves for the work that's going to go on in some of these projects. More specifically, the water tower, which is the next resolution of awarding that bid. So we would have the money in place, and then we would reimburse ourselves on the bond sale if we felt that was appropriate.
Right. Okay. Thanks, Craig. Craig, is this kind of from my Sioux water tank? Does this cover my Sioux? Is this part of it?
I kind of went colorblind after I saw that thing.
I was just wondering. We'll keep working on that, Tim. We got that. I like that. I think, Tim, we can get that through. Okay. Anybody with that being said, thanks, Craig and Tim. Can we entertain a motion on this?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 05-20 as presented.
Thank you, Joseph. Motion, wait, and I look, motion by Joe. Do we have support?
Support.
That's Al. Hey, Al. Yep.
Yep.
Second by Al. Okey doke. Any further discussion? None being all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? No opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Okay, we go to B, resolution number 06-20, bid award, pages 15 to 19. This would be, well, self-explanatory, I think, for the bid for the project. We had a low bid, I think, was it Viking? Yeah, it was Viking Industrial. So anybody maybe want to comment before we make the motion? Again, Tim or Craig?
Mr. Mayor, we had three companies bid on this project, and you can see that two of them were pretty competitive. The third one was a little further out. So we are recommending that you go with the Viking Industrial. This is for the rehab of the water tower. There's quite a bit of upgrading to bring everything up to OSHA compliance, and some electrical work, some antennas, antenna work on the roof of the tower, and a paint job. So we would recommend that you would accept this bid.
I'm looking, where are they from, Tim? Do you realize where are they located?
Iowa.
Oh, in Iowa. Yeah, I thought so, in Iowa. Okay, that's all right. Okay, thanks, Tim. With that being said, can we entertain a motion to accept the low bid of Viking Industrial?
Yeah, also move that we approve resolution number 06-20, awarding the bid to Viking Industrial Painting. This will be for the improvement of our elevated storage tank, and that base bid. Tim, are we doing the add-on also?
I would recommend that we do the add-on, yes.
Okay, this motion will be to also add the $3,000 add-on for a total of $811,900.
Motion by Joe. Thank you, Joe. Do we have support?
Support.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Any further discussion?
Tim, have we
know-
ever, I'm sorry, go ahead, Steve.
Do we know anything about this company? It's not a family-based company like the last one was that we had in here, is it?
The family-based one was the original paint job we did when the structure was built. This company has done quite a few towers. They're a pretty reputable company. It's been painted. This will be, I believe, the third time that it's been painted, and of course, like everything else, the rules have changed since it was built, and so there's quite a bit of modifications that'll be done on this project, and so I believe this would be a pretty reputable company.
Just so long as you don't have any kids up there again.
That is correct.
Okay.
So we have never worked with this company, correct, Tim? But you have some good reports on their reliability, and when is their availability if they do get when they get this bid? When would they start work?
Yeah, I mean, our consultant engineer KLM has recommended this also, but Alan, maybe you have some more information.
Sure. In their bid package, they included, we asked for a list of references in case there was a company that was unfamiliar with Mountain Iron or this area. And this happens to be one of them that hasn't done a project up on the range, but they had a list of many tanks, and KLM's worked with them in other cities. So they have experience. This isn't their first big project. And then as far as a start date, in the bid documents, it called out that they would start July 13th that week. And I believe it was an 11-week project starting that week.
Okay, thanks, Al.
Yep.
What sort of antenna work was going to need to be done up on that top of that tower?
Well, we have some of our own antennas up there, along with some of the, there's a couple other ones up there as well, but we have a couple of antennas up there. So these are, there's some pretty strict codes on how to fasten antennas to a water tower. And this would be the brackets and everything that would go along to attach to our specific tower.
Okay.
Hey, Tim, when we get into that now and they start working on the insides of those tanks, that obviously lowers our water capacity. Does that have any effect on our fire department and any water usage for hydrants or anything in the city during that time?
We'll be working on, we'll be bringing up the pressure of our system with our pumps themselves. So right now we're actually going through and rebuilding our pumps. They probably have never been rebuilt. So we'll put a variable speed drive on a pressure sensor. And what it'll do is it'll ramp our pumps up and down and keep a constant pressure. So those are some things that we need to work on here, and this will give us some time to get this set up and get in place. I think it's a pretty common practice now that other communities have done it. Evelyn just successfully did theirs. So I don't think that there was any difference in pressures and what Evelyn did theirs, according to my discussions with them. And I'm hoping that we don't either. We also have an interconnection with our neighbors to the east, the city of Virginia. So I'll have a discussion with some of their people to let them know our project's going on in case something happened, such as a fire or something, that we could open up some valves and get some additional help from them.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
Tim, just so that the valve doesn't malfunction and my toilet becomes a bidet.
Well, we'll hope not.
That's all right, Toby. That's okay. Hello, whatever works. Okay, let's take a vote. All in favor signify by saying, wait, I think a roll call on that is money. Amanda, can we have a roll call?
Gogman,
Yes.
Danaway,
Yes.
Buria,
Yes.
Trevig,
Yes.
Oh.
Scalco.
Yes, motion carried 5-0. Okay, we're moving on to C, resolution number 07-20, a grant application, pages 20 and 21. The sequence IRRR for an IRRB grant. So let's see, I'm trying to think exactly what this one would be here now. Staff has well, this is for the water system. Craig, maybe you could add on. I know this is the one you've been working on through the IRRB for. This is correlation of all these projects, right, Craig?
That is correct, Mr. Mayor. We submitted it as a package at the request of Representative Lillisgard. He sounded quite upset that no projects in his district got funded last time around. So he asked us if we had anything to go in, and of course we always do. So we submitted it, and hopefully with his help, we'll get some financing or get some funding for these water improvement projects.
Thanks, Craig, for that work too, and thanks, thanks Dave too, for his time. So, okay. With that being said, could we entertain a motion on this, seeking some grant money here?
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number 07-20, authorizing the city of Mountain Iron to make application to and accept funds for the community infrastructure grant program from the Department of IRRB.
Well stated, Skog. You did a good job on that one. I tell you, I can't kick you under the table, but you did a good one. Okay, we have. Do we have support for Steve's motion?
Support.
Okay, Al. Thanks, Al. Now, any discussion on this motion? Okay, none being, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried 5-0. I just want to comment that I've been here a long time, and I know, Craig, and we don't, we're just applying them, but I want to thank you again. I know, I'm sure we all do, for the grants that this city has received over the years. It's in the millions. At one time I had to do it to pacify a counselor, but it's in the millions of grant money that we've received, and well, I'm sure well over 10 million. I don't want to say, but it's a lot over the years. So basically, Craig, those are the ones that you have written up. So thanks again so much, Craig. Okay, are we ready to vote? Did we vote on that one or not? I got carried away. I lost it. Did we vote on it, Joe?
No,
Help me.
Not yet.
No, I'm
Oh,
like, yeah.
I left a nice smile, Joe. Hey, Joe. It's hard, when I'm by myself, and now I'm
I
getting
know.
I'm getting a little hungry too. I want to put on some popcorn. Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carried 5-0. Okay, now we're moving along to resolution 0820, another grant application, pages 22 and 23. It has to do with this has to do with our solar farm. Maybe Craig, you could give us briefly. I know this time we've been working on for a while with City of Virginia. Low feedback there, Craig.
Sure, Mr. Mayor, yes, you are correct. This is a joint solar project conducted between us and the City of Virginia. The site, if we recall, the first phase, we did receive $50,000 from them to perform some site work, grubbing and clearing of the site. This money would be phase 2, which would help with foundations and help with some other infrastructure needs in there.
And we're still looking
on the paperwork. I know there's a bunch of stuff we still got to get done with our consultant on this regarding, the paperwork, the interconnects, the tax credit financing. I know Councilor Skogman wants us to get a permit to him, so we're working through that as well. So hopefully that'll be coming up shortly.
Okay, Craig, and this is still looking at the old desert site at south of the old downtown area, correct?
That is correct, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thanks, Craig.
Hey,
Okay,
Craig, I have a question here. So that grant, the 225,000, is that a joint application with Virginia and Mountain Iron, or is it Mountain Iron's part and Virginia does their own grant for that, or is it a combined grant?
It's combined, but since the project is within our jurisdiction, we have to be the lead on it. We can't have Virginia doing it. What Virginia will do is submit a resolution of support of the grant application, stating that they're part of the project and we're working together on it. But as the host community, we're doing the lead on it.
makes sense. Thank you so much, Craig. Okay, with that being said, did we have a motion on that?
No.
Chip.
No.
Okay, could we have a motion on that?
Also move, we adopt resolution 08-20, authorizing the city of Mountain Iron to make application to and accept funds from the Mineland Reclamation Grant Program from the Department of IRRR.
Boy, that was impressive, Al. Your voice is just really loud. It kind of just echoes through my phone here. Motion by Al. Okay, now we're gonna have support. Hi, Joe. I can see Julie. Support.
Support.
I was gonna ask Julie, but I was looking at her, Joe, but now you beat her to the punch. Okay, I'm gonna give it to Joe. Support by Joe. Any other discussion? None being, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried 5-0 for the grant. So again, thank you much, Craig. Now we're moving on to the last item here, the Shared Services Committee appointment, page 24. I don't know if Joe wants to talk about it or Craig. I know Joe's part of it now. Would this be an addition to you, Joe, or is this somebody to replace you? So it'd be an addition, right, Joe?
Technically, Yeah, well, what it is,
Oh.
Gary, is, you know, we do have a committee that's working on the shared services agreement. And we are still at a committee level right now. What we hope to do is when we come up with a governing model, we have talked about getting a group together that will be in charge of this, basically of the shared services. It will not be the committee, it'll be an appointed group that will be in charge of basically the shared services project. What we've come up with so far is what we'd like to do is have a 5-person committee. And with that committee, we'd like to have 2 counselors from Virginia, 2 counselors from Mountain Iron. And then the 5th person will be a at-large person. And that person will not be from the city of Mountain Iron or the city of Virginia. And it will not be a person with any firefighter experience. We will put out applications and interview for that. The person that's working with us from the Minnesota Fire Marshal's office has had the same type of model in other department shared services ventures, and having a person outside the area will not be, I should say, linked to any one community, and without the fire knowledge, will have you know, an open mind on just the governing part of it. So with that being said, we at the Shared Services Committee, if we were going to go that way, we discussed having the possible other counselor that would be on that committee join us now in our discussions with the Shared Services Committee. And then when that committee is actually formed, or not the committee, but that governing model is formed, then this other counselor will be part of that. So I guess what I'm saying is we're looking for another person off of each council. I will remain on it if you'd like, with from Mountain Iron, and Maya Beyondich is the representative from Virginia. So I guess we're kind of looking at somebody from the council that would be willing to join our meetings and be involved in our meetings, and then be a permanent member of that board when we do hand it over to them.
Well, thank you, Joe. Well explained, Joe. Good. And I want to thank you, Joe. I know you've been on it for, I don't know, it's been a year already, Joe, maybe it's about a year. I know
Yeah.
quite a bit. I think it's about a year, close, but thanks for what you've done, Joe. I guess, is there someone interested? You know, that would be interested to join Joe, put it that way. You could keep an eye on Joe at the same time too. And,
Yeah, well, fortunately or unfortunately, we're doing it the same way here, you know, Gary. We're doing it with our doing it virtual.
Yeah,
we're not meeting together, but what we do plan on doing, just jumping ahead a little bit, is when we do get a chance to get together, we hope to get both city councils together and go over our plan and our governing model, and work with both councils setting this whole thing up. But we still need representation from each council.
okay, right, Joe. Thanks again, Joe. Is there anyone, I guess I'm asking, right, we have 3 other people, Steve or Al or Julie, anybody expressed an interest in it?
I think it's a good position for Julie.
I don't think Julie has time.
Oh,
She's a pretty busy lady now.
well,
I mean,
so is the rest of us.
But I mean, I think with you, Skogie and Al, you both got, you know, firefighter experience. Either one of you would be a good candidate, you know. So I
think you're right, Gary. I think the firefighting experience would you know, come in handy on this also, in my opinion.
You want to go in the backyard and maybe fight it out, Steve?
And we're, you know,
Or maybe you want to
it's not, it's not real time consuming. I know we're all busy and we all have things going on, but we only meet once a month for a maximum of 2 hours. It's usually on a Monday from 3 to 5. And so it's only, it actually is kind of a small commitment right now. And basically, we just want you to be there and see how the committee is moving along and see how we're working and what we have going for us.
Anybody, I guess, and if we can, add a point, Steve or Skog, anybody, one of you two want to step up to the plate and volunteer?
Well, this weekend I kind of had thoughts about where I and what I felt about getting involved in this. Granted, I've been chairing the Safety and Health Committee for the last 12 years or so. That's had its ups and downs. There's been its conflicts there. Trying to stay neutral in some of that stuff has been a little bit difficult. Depending on what Steve would like to do, if needed, I guess I would step up and sit in and give my 2 cents when it's needed.
Steve, thanks, Al. Steve, do you want to comment on that, or is that
I want
fine
to
with?
thank Al for stepping up and take that position.
I don't know if Al stepping out, it sounds like a cop-out, Skog.
Yeah.
No, it is.
I've thought about the same as Al has.
I know what you mean, and it's somebody who's going to hopefully be there in the next year too. That
I'd love to be there in the next year or two, but I've got other things that I'm thinking about doing, and I just don't think that now is a appropriate time for me to do that.
No, you don't have to explain. So, but since Al has graciously stepped up to plate, do we have to put it in form of a motion, or is that it? What do you think, Joe? Or should
Yeah,
we?
I think that just
Yeah,
as far as being politically correct,
Could you
I
make
think we'd like to make a motion. I'll make a motion that Councillor Al Stanaway will be the new addition to the Shared Services Committee and will work with us at this time.
Okay, thanks, Joe. Thank you. A motion by Joe. Do we have support?
Support.
By Joe. Thanks, Joe. Any further discussion?
Thank you, Al, for stepping up. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I know, Alex. And all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll abstain.
Oh, yeah. Motion carried 4-0 with 1 abstention.
Sorry, Al.
With
Okay.
that, Al, Craig will be in touch with you as far as our meetings and information coming to you.
Okay, very good.
Yeah,
That
sounds good.
Thanks, Al. Communications, anything, we have nothing there that I see that I'm aware of. Announcements, anybody have an announcement that they like to announce? Right, nobody? With that being said, I guess I so move to adjourn. Do I have support?
Support.
I guess that was Al. Thanks, Al.
No, it wasn't.
Was it Skogie?
Skogie.
That was
I think I beat Skogman.
I heard you after I said it. But you can have
Okay.
one, Julie.
We'll give it to Skog. Skog, you've been pretty quiet tonight.
Yeah.
We'll give it to Skogie. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, take care, everybody. We'll see you probably in this forum again on Monday, May 4th. Everybody take care, stay safe, and let's hope for the best. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You
Bye-bye,
too.
Joe.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Good
Bye-bye.
job.
Stay safe, everyone.
Stay safe.
Yep, that took almost all my battery.